Welcome to the New Year New Me Book Tag 2025. My name is Melissa. Sorry to be getting this out not on a Tuesday and pretty late into January, but I got the flu, so that's how it happened. Anyway, let's get into the prompts. Prompt 1, Fears. What is the one book from your 2025 reading goals that scares you? Crucible of War by Fred Anderson. I don't know if it really scares me, but it's kind of a drag. It's just, I wish I have access to the audiobook, and I kind of wish that I had access to the ebook, but I don't have the budget for it. So the thing about it is that it's a long, dense academic history of the 7 Years' War, also known as the French and Indian War, and it's just taking notes on it means listening to each and every minute of the audiobook 3 or 4 times to take notes on it, because right now it's setting up why the war happened. So it's setting up the whole geopolitical situation of how and why the war started. And it's pretty complicated, and it involves a lot of intricate little details of who is who and who had what motives and all the things. It's a little bit like World War I in that sense. So every little detail is important right now. And so I just have to go through it very slowly, and it probably would be faster to read it with my eyeballs and be able to underline it and highlight it and be able to copy paste parts of it and rephrase it in my own words that way. But it is what it is. So if I were trying to read the entire book that way, all like 30 or 35 hours of it, that would scare me. But what I think I'm going to do is just just go through the first 4 or 5 chapters where it sets up the beginning, up to the beginning of the war, where it sets up why it starts. And then once it starts, I'm going to switch to a different book that basically starts at the beginning of the war and is much easier to take notes on, because it basically is set up like a college lecture, where it's like there's this other book where that's set up like, okay, these are the 3 things you need to know about this, and here's what you need to know about that. And it's much easier to take notes on. So I'm just going to switch over to a different book, I think. All right, number 2, Patience. What is the one book on your 2025 reading goals you want to start immediately? That would again be Fred Anderson, because it's going to take me a while. I'm on chapter 3, and it's going to take me a while to get through it. So that's one where I just had to get started immediately and just push on through, because I'm already behind because of getting my wisdom teeth getting out and then having a round of flu. So there we go. Number 3, growth. What book last year pushed you to reflect and or grow as a reader? Hot Protestants by Michael Winship probably pushed my patience the most. Excuse me. I had a really hard time understanding and empathizing with the Puritan mindset, or even just the general 17th century English mindset. And then when I got to what was it called? The Devil in the Shape of the Woman, in the Shape of a Woman. There was just a lot of really bizarre things that seemed to me to be really kind of bizarre about the way that people thought about the world and religion and all kinds of things back then. And I just was like, why do people think these things? Why did people do these things? I just don't get it. So yeah. Excuse me, my I'm feeling the humidity level is rather dry in Colorado today. So, number 4, new paths. What is one author you plan to try for the first time in 2025? Well, that would be most of them, at least as far as the history books go. I'm trying to enter a new historical period this year, which means I'm trying to move on to new authors. And one of them I just picked out for my schedule is David Walstreicher. I hope that's how you say his name. And he wrote a biography of Phyllis Wheatley that I'm probably going to read for People April. 5, self-care. What is one book or series that you revisit for comfort? I have talked about this book many times. I still go back to The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison when I'm too sick to focus on anything else. I really should find another comfort read at some point. Maybe I can find one this year. Number 6, Forging Ahead. What is your favorite debut book or first book in a series that you read last year? I read Beyond by Mercedes Lackey, and it's the first book in the Founding of Valdemar trilogy, and it's about the Baron of Valdemar leading his people away from an evil empire that they'd grown up in into the wilderness to found their own kingdom. Number 7, goals. Do you have a specific reading goal or challenge for the year ahead? Yes. I haven't set a goal for the number of books I will read this year. Normally I would do that, but I feel like I've kind of outgrown the need for that. Instead, I've made goals for the types of books I want to read. So this year, I want to finish my reading for the American pre-revolutionary colonial period and hopefully start on the revolutionary period. And then I want to reserve room for fantasy every month. And I want to potentially read some banned books throughout the year. I haven't done a good job so far because I'm behind on Fred Anderson, and so that is taking up time that I could be reading Beloved. And so who knows what's going to happen with that. And then I would like to do maybe participate in a few reading events and do a little personal interest reading beyond my project in escapist fantasy, because fantasy is my escapism. And then I have planned to take June, July, November, and December off my reading project. And the reason why is because depression has hit fairly hard the last few summers, and although I would love to feel great this summer, in case that happens again, I've got some light fun reading planned for the summer with no pressure to finish any of it. And then the holidays are always busy, and nonfiction November needs to be flexible in case Olive issues challenge words. I know that she's not going to host Nonfiction November anymore, but I have heard that she might issue challenge words, and so if she does that, I just want to leave Nonfiction November open to possibilities. So, okay, 8, Breaking Walls, bonus. So do you have a non-book related goal for 2025 you wish to share? Yes, I have 2 goals. I have one tech-related Booktube goal and a non-Booktube related goal. So for Black Friday, I got a new computer because my old computer was a hand-me-down and it was old. But my new computer is capable of running DaVinci Resolve, and I want to learn to use that to a basic degree. And my second goal is to sew a purse. Last year I bought the fabric to sew one, and then I never got around to sewing it. So, and my first purse, the first purse that I ever sewed a few years ago, is wearing out because I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't use any sort of, I just used like quilting cotton and felt because I didn't know what interfacing was. And so this year I have quilting cotton and denim and interfacing, and hopefully that will last a little bit longer. So I want to get that done. It's sometime this year before my old bag wears out. So yeah. Um, and then the last one is to tag others. And I think everybody who wants to be tagged probably has been tagged already. So I'm not going to tag anybody. But if you haven't been tagged and you want to do this tag, feel free and say I tagged you or something like that. Um, I hope you have a great weekend and a great week ahead, and or at least as good as 2025 can allow you to have. Because we all know it's gonna be a rough year. So um, have the best week available to you. Take care.